Good morning, class. I was waiting for more people to join, so I hope that's it. Now everyone can switch on your videos and then we'll start. Okay? So everyone kindly switch on your videos. Yes, everyone, please switch on your videos. Okay, so we'll start today. We'll do the revision of malaria. We already discussed about the life cycle of the malarial parasite, so we'll go for the rest of the parts. Okay. So malaria, it is a protozoal disease. Okay, protozoa is also a type of pathogen only. The like you have viruses, you have fungi. So in that way only protozoa is another type. Okay, so malaria is a protozoal disease. Okay, and then it is caused by that parasite only, that malarial parasite that we have discussed yesterday and the day before that. But it is caused by the genus Plasmodium. Okay, the genus is Plasmodium, and then the malaria is a protozoal disease. Okay, and it is transmitted to men and mosquitoes both are the host. And which kind of mosquitoes? The female Anopheles mosquito or the female Anopheline mosquito. Okay, so these are the ones, this is the species. Okay, Plasmodium is the genus and this Anopheline is the species. And then when a mosquito, this female Anopheles mosquito, it bites a human being, now the signs and symptoms, they will vary accordingly. In some it may be mild, in some it may be severe. Okay, depending upon the immunity status, what was the intensity of the infection, along with it the presence of other health condition. For example, if you are having certain health condition which is already suppressing your immune system, so in that cases, if you get the bite from a female Anopheles mosquito, you are more prone to get severe signs and symptoms. Okay. So the mosquito is female Anopheles mosquito, and if you talk about the genus and the species, then these are Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale and Plasmodium malariae. Okay, and out of these 4, Plasmodium falciparum, they account for like 50% of the cases. Then I told you about the host and the reservoirs. These are men and the female Anopheline mosquito. Now, if we talk about the high risk groups, the high risk groups are all ages. Okay, all of the people in all ages, they are more prone to get the disease. But the newborn children, they are resistant to Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, because the concentration of fetal hemoglobin during the first few months of life, that suppresses the development of Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, because the newborn, they will have the fetal hemoglobin in their body, and then this fetal hemoglobin, this will prevent the development of this Plasmodium falciparum within their body. So the newborn, they are resistant to Plasmodium falciparum. Apart from that, all the ages, people of all the age group are prone to get the disease. Okay. Then next, again the pregnant ladies are also at a high risk. Okay, then the sex differences is that it is thought that males are more affected than female. Okay, because of their outdoor lifestyle, that have been attributed to their outdoor lifestyle. Okay, the reason is not sure, but some research, this says that because of the outdoor lifestyle of male, they are more prone to get the disease rather than female. But again, if you talk about the pregnant female, then the pregnant female are also at a higher risk of getting the disease. Then we have talked about the life cycle already. Now talking about the incubation period, it is 7 to 30 days. Okay, 7 to 30 days, like it can vary like from a week till a month. Okay, so the time when you get the mosquito bite till the time you show the signs and symptoms or the person becomes infective, so it takes about like 7 to 30 days, and it will be shorter for Plasmodium falciparum, not shorter than 7 days, but within that range, no, 7 to 30 days, it is a huge range. It is ranging from 1 week to 1 month, so it will be lesser in case of your Plasmodium falciparum. Mode of infection, you know, that is bite of the infectious female Anopheline mosquito. Now remember, not all female Anopheline mosquito can transmit malaria. Okay, only the infected mosquitoes will be able to transmit the disease, and only when the infectious material or the infectious organism, that is the sporozoites, are present in the salivary gland of the female Anopheline mosquito, only in that stage the mosquito is infective. Okay, even when the infectious agent or the infectious organism was present in the stomach of the mosquito, even in that case the mosquito is like not infectious. Okay, even in that case also, if it bites you, you will not get the infection. You will get the infection only when the mosquito has these sporozoites in its salivary gland. Okay, now talking about the life cycle, if we say that there are two main phases, asexual and sexual cycle, and under asexual we have this hepatic phase, erythrocytic phase, and the gametogeny. Okay, and then comes the sexual phase, so we discussed that already. Now talking about the clinical features, there are 3 stages. Okay, one is the cold stage, next is the hot stage, after that is the sweating stage. In the cold stage, the signs and symptoms that you will usually see are like headache, nausea. Nausea means the tendency to vomit. Okay, then vomiting also, chills, and the temperature, it is about like 39 to 41 degrees Celsius. And your skin will also become cold, especially your like extremities, which are your hand and feet, will become cold, and later on they will become hot. And your pulse, it will be rapid. Okay, it will be rapid, but it will be very weak. Okay, so if you so what is the normal pulse rate? If I ask you, what is the normal pulse rate? Anyone? Pulse rate is ultimately the heart rate. Okay, so how much is the normal pulse rate? Anyone?
60 to 100 beats per minute.
60 to 100. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else wants to add up something? Okay, so the normal heart rate is 72, but if I talk about a range, then it is 60 to 100 or 60 to 80. Okay, good. Means in some cases we consider it as 80. Okay, in some cases we consider it as 100, the upper range. Okay, it depends, it varies, like with gender, it varies with age. Okay, it varies with your clinical conditions, other clinical conditions that you are having. So the upper limit that varies. Okay, maybe sometimes 80 is considered as normal for some people, sometimes 100 is considered as normal for some people, but the lower limit is 60. Okay, so it is 60 to 80 or 60 to 100. Okay, if you talk about the range. And then the pulse rate, here it will be, the pulse will be rapid. Okay, so you will get more number of beats per minute, but the number of beats are increasing, but the beats will be very weak. Okay, so there is a method to determine that, how you do that, with the help of 3 fingers. So if you know how to check the pulse, if you do it with 3 fingers, one finger will be checking for the number of beats, the other finger will be checking for the rhythm, the other finger will be checking, the third finger will be checking for the strength, whether it is weak or it is strong. So here in the cold stage of malaria, the pulse will be very rapid. Okay, the number of beats will be more, but then the pulse will be very feeble, or what you call as weak. And this stage, it lasts for like 15 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, 15 minutes to 1 hour. Next is your hot stage. So in the hot stage, you get fever, headache, vomiting. These things are similar: fever, headache, vomiting. Along with it, you can get seizures. Okay, seizures means some kind of convulsions. Then the skin will be burning hot and dry. Here there will be no sweating, but the skin will be hot and dry. And here the headache is more intense than the cold phase. Okay, here the pulse will be full, the strength of the pulse will be more, and respiration will be rapid. Means you will get, there is a term for rapid respiration. Can you tell me what is that term for rapid respiration or increased tachypnea? Okay, good. It is tachypnea. Okay, tachypnea. Tachypnea. Tachypnea is the term for increased respiratory rate. So can anyone tell me what is the normal respiratory rate? Anyone? Normal respiratory rate? 12 to 16. Okay, anyone else? To 16 breaths per minute. Okay, so it is actually 12 to 16, but to be precise, if you say, it can be considered as 12 to 20 also. Okay, so the normal respiratory rate is 12 to 20. So if it is higher than that, it can be considered as tachypnea. Now it is tachypnea for faster breathing rate. So what is the term that we use for the slower breathing rate? What is the term for slower breathing rate? Yes, say. Yes, you are correct. Say.
Bradypnea.
Yes, correct. Good. That is bradypnea. Okay. So tachypnea is the faster breathing rate, and the slower breathing rate is your bradypnea. Okay, and similarly you have two similar terms for faster heart rate and slower heart rate. So what are those? Anyone know about that? Bradycardia. Yes, good. So the slower heart rate is bradycardia. So what can be the term for faster heart rate?
Tachycardia.
Yes, good. That is tachycardia. Okay, yeah, tachycardia. So tachy always means more, brady always means less. So tachypnea and tachycardia. So these two are faster breathing rate and your faster heart rate, or which you call as pulse. And then the lower one, which is slower than the normal, so that you call as the bradycardia or the bradypnea. So here the pulse will be full but your respiration will be rapid in the hot stage, that is you will be suffering from tachypnea. Okay, and then this stage it lasts for 2 to 6 hours, but your skin will still be dry in the hot stage. Now next, if we go for the sweating stage, here the fever comes down and there will be sweating. The temperature also comes down, because when you sweat the temperature itself comes down. The pulse will be slower than normal. And now the person, not slower than normal, sorry, it was rapid in case of your hot stage, so now this will come to like slower than that but normal. Okay, and it the person will be relieved and the person can fall asleep in this stage, and this stage lasts for about like 2 to 4 hours. Apart from this, if you talk about the associated signs and symptoms, then the person will have body aches, then malaise means the general feeling of discomfort, then perspiration means sweating, along with this increased respiration rate, okay, increased pulse rate, your kidney failure, liver failure, enlarged spleen, jaundice. So mostly you can see that your liver will be affected. Why? Because you have a hepatic phase here also. Okay, if you remember, there was the hepatic phase in the life cycle of malarial parasite. So when your liver was affected with this infectious organism, so because of that reasons also you will get these conditions such as your jaundice, okay, liver failure, enlarged spleen is also related to your liver only. And once the liver, one organ, stops functioning well, the other organs are also affected. So ultimately this can lead to your kidney failure also. Sometimes if this infectious organism through the bloodstream, you all know that they are present in the bloodstream, so because of some reasons if they reach the blood vessels of your brain, then the person might also be experiencing cerebral malaria. Okay, so here you will have swelling of the blood vessels of the brain. So these are the clinical features. Now if we talk about diagnosis are microscopic test, okay, serological test, blood test, then additional some kind of blood test, rapid diagnostic test. So these are some diagnoses that you go for malaria. Okay, next is the treatment. So if we talk about treatment, I have explained this, that the drugs that you use in malaria, no, most of these drugs, like you when you are traveling to a area where these cases are more, so if you are traveling to such areas, so you will take the drugs before your travel, during the stay of your stay during that travel, and also after you have left that area, as a precautionary measure you will be taking the drugs. So this is known as your chemoprophylaxis. Prophylaxis means you are taking some treatment or you're taking some drugs as a preventive measures, and chemo means drugs. So this preventive measures you are doing it through the drugs. So this is the primary prophylaxis. So I give you the name of certain drugs such as doxycycline, nefloquine, chloroquine, right? So these are the names of certain drugs that you use, and the same drugs are used for treatment and the same drugs are used for prevention. But remember, the drug that you use for prevention will not be used for your treatment, okay, because that drug was not successful enough to prevent the malaria, so that drug will not work well in your body, okay. You're getting my point? Like, the thing is, see, if you have a group of friends, okay, if you have a friend circle, you are in a certain kind of problem or in a situation that you want to get out of, okay. So now, since you are in that situation, you go to a certain friend, you have asked help to that friend, but still after the help, you are still in that situation only, okay. The help was of no use. So the next time, of course, when you are in the same situation, you will not go to that similar friend, right? You will go to your other friends for some other kind of solutions. So here also, there are a certain group of drugs. There are several drugs that you use, maybe doxycycline, nefloquine, chloroquine, and there are several other drugs. So the same drugs, the same group of drugs can be used for prevention, they can be used for treatment also, but the drug that you used for the prevention, okay, but that did not prove to be effective enough, and anyhow you got the disease, now you will not use the similar drug, you will go for another drug. For example, if you were using like doxycycline for prevention, so if the malaria was prevented, well and good. If not, anyhow you get the disease, so now you will not use doxycycline again, now you can go for nefloquine, okay. Similarly, if you were using like nefloquine for prevention and anyhow you get the disease, now you will not use nefloquine, you will go for other drugs, maybe doxycycline, okay. So it varies from person to person, but the set of drugs are similar for prevention as well as for treatment. You use the same set of drugs. Clear, everyone? Clear about this treatment part? Okay. Then next, talking about the malarial vaccine. So vaccines are basically of three types: the pre-erythrocytic stage, blood stage, and the transmission blocking vaccine. So pre-erythrocytic stage means when the infectious organism, okay, maybe the merozoites that I was talking about yesterday, the merozoites have not come into contact with the RBCs, okay. So when they come in contact with the RBCs, they become trophozoite. So before this infectious organism, before they turn into trophozoite, you use some vaccines. So these vaccines you call as the pre-erythrocytic vaccine, okay, before they come in contact with the erythrocytes or the RBCs. Next is the blood stage vaccine, that is of course when the infectious organism are in your blood, that is the erythrocytic stage. Then last is your transmission blocking vaccine, that is when the vaccine it is transmitted, when the infectious organism, there are chances of it being transmitted to the mosquito, like in the gametogeny phase. In that phase, this vaccine can be used, that is the transmission blocking vaccine, okay. So these are the kind of vaccine that you use, and there are like only one approved vaccine which has got low efficacy, okay. The efficacy rate is not much higher, so it was found in 2021, that is called as RTS-S, okay. The brand name is Mosquirix, it is sold by the brand name Mosquirix, and if you talk about the chemical name, it is RTS-S. It has got 4 injections of it. There is another vaccine also, R21, but these vaccines are not much approved, okay. And WHO doesn't recommend using these vaccines to the babies, okay. Between like 6 to 12 weeks, they do not recommend the use of these vaccines. So, and the efficacy is also low, so they are, although they are approved, but they are not widely used. And if you talk about the prevention is like the same things that you do for dengue, that is, when you sleep, okay, you take a mosquito net, you wear full sleeve clothes, do not go out in the time of dawn and dusk when you are more prone to get the bite from the mosquito, okay. Use the mosquito repellents, okay. So these are the things, that is prevent the water coagulation in a particular area. So these are the things, the way how you can prevent the breeding of mosquito and how you can prevent a mosquito bite. These are itself the preventive measures, okay. Clear about malaria? Okay, wait. transmission blocking vaccine. Okay, transmission blocking vaccine is the name itself says that there is blocking of transmission. So when can this be transmitted? When the infectious organism is in the gametogeny phase. Okay, when you have these male gametes and the female gametes in your body, then the person becomes infective, right? And in there, when the person becomes infective, in that stage only, when a mosquito bites the human being, now the mosquito also gets infected, and now the mosquito, when it bites other people, there will be transmission of the disease. So now if you block the disease when it is in the gametogeny phase, that is called as the transmission blocking vaccine, because that is the only phase when a mosquito bites you, the mosquito will also get infective. Because in the hepatic phase and the erythrocytic phase, even when a mosquito bites you, the mosquito will not get infected. Only when the infectious organism is in the form of male gamete and female gamete, these forms are only infectious to the mosquito. So when these forms are present in your body and you take this transmission blocking vaccine, now when a mosquito bites you, the mosquito will not be infected, and this can prevent the further transmission of the disease. Okay, clear? That is basically in the gametogeny phase. Pre-erythrocytic is used in the hepatic stage, blood stage vaccine is in the erythrocytic stage, and transmission blocking vaccine is basically used in the gametogeny stage. Okay. So this was all about malaria. Now if we discuss about the question and answer, so malaria is a dash disease: protozoal, viral, fungal, all of the above. What will be the answer?
Protozoal disease.
Yes, good. Everyone said that it's the protozoal disease, or option A. So malaria is a protozoal disease. So which infectious organism is responsible for 50% of malarial cases? Option A, Plasmodium vivax, B, Plasmodium ovale, C, Plasmodium falciparum, D, Plasmodium malariae. Yes, good. So it is Plasmodium falciparum. Then which are the host and host or reservoir of malaria? Okay, option A, men, option B, female anopheline mosquito, option C, chimpanzees in tropical Africa, option D, all of the above. D. Yes, correct. It is option D. Okay, men, female anopheline mosquito, and chimpanzees of tropical Africa. Good. Now tell me, why are newborns resistant to Plasmodium falciparum? Like in the initial months after their birth, why are they resistant to Plasmodium falciparum? Immature immunity. Anyone else wants to say something? Okay, the answer is because of the concentration of increased fetal hemoglobin. Okay, because in the initial stage these newborns will still have the fetal hemoglobin in their body, and when the concentration of this fetal hemoglobin is more, this fetal hemoglobin, the components present in it, these are resistant or they suppress the development of the Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, not the other species. Vivax, oval and Malari, it cannot suppress the development of this, but it can suppress the development of Plasmodium falciparum. Clear? Because of the concentration of fetal hemoglobin. Okay, next question is why males are more prone to get malaria more than female? Option A, because of their increased immunity. Option B, because they are physically stronger. Option C, outdoor lifestyle. Option D, all of the above. Yes, good. It is because of their outdoor lifestyle. What is the incubation period and in which species it is shorter? What is the incubation period and in which species it is shorter? Yes, it is 7 to 30 days and it is shorter for Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, good. Next is, what is the mode of infection? Okay, option A is bite of a female anopheline mosquito. Option B, bite of an infectious female anopheline mosquito. Option C, droplet infection. Option D, fecal-oral route. The answer is bite of a female infectious anopheline mosquito. Okay, infectious female anopheline mosquito. So there is the difference that I wanted to tell you, that simply a bite by a female anopheline mosquito will not lead to malaria. Okay, if the anopheline mosquito is also infected, only then one will get the disease. Okay, so it is, the answer will be B, that is bite of an infectious female anopheline mosquito, not A. Okay, A was like bite of an infectious the option A was bite of a female anopheline mosquito, right? So that is not the answer. The answer is bite of an infectious female anopheline mosquito. Okay, the mosquito also should be infected to cause the disease in human being. So that is why I asked this question. Pulse will be rapid and weak in which stage of malaria? Cold stage, hot stage, sweating stage, or all of the above? Rapid and weak pulse. Good. It is in the cold stage. Seizures are seen in which stage of malaria? Hot stage. Good. It is in the hot stage. So what happens in cerebral malaria? Yes, good. There are swelling of the blood vessels of the brain. Okay, so this is what happens in your cerebral malaria when the infectious organism reaches your brain through the circulation. Yes, good. Swelling of blood vessels of the brain. Name the 2 approved vaccines for malaria. Although they have low efficacy rate, but they have been approved. So what are the name of these 2 vaccines? TSS and R21. Okay, good. Name 2 drugs used in malaria. Chloroquine, doxycycline. Yes. Tefenoquine. Yes, good. There are several drugs, okay? Doxycycline, mefloquine, primaquine, tefenoquine, nefloquine, okay? Everything ending with quine and like cycline, okay? Doxycycline. So these are the ones that you use in case of your malaria, okay? Good. So malaria is over. You gave me 2 more topics for cholera and rabies, okay? Find out if you have more doubts, so let me know tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll discuss about rabies, okay? So everyone go through it once before we discuss tomorrow. After that I'll explain it to you once, and then after that we'll go for the question and answer session, okay? So we'll wind up the class now. CR, you can send me the attendance.